Okay, I know this is an anime channel where I talk about anime and that this isn't an anime, but shut up, I want to talk about it. Ultraman Rising, the latest entry in the Ultraman series. For anyone that doesn't know, Ultraman is a long-running Japanese tokusatsu franchise that dates back all the way to the 60s, with the original Ultraman airing on July 17th, 1966. I have been a huge fan of tokusatsu since I was a little kid. Godzilla, Gamera, Power Rangers, if it has dudes in suits hospitalizing other dudes in suits, you're not gonna see me complaining. Unfortunately, since this is an anime channel, I don't usually get a lot of opportunities to talk about tokusatsu, since, it's a primarily live action dominated genre. This is why I'm always eager to get my grubby little man hands on anything tokusatsu related in the anime sphere. And look, I know that Ultraman Rising isn't an anime, it's actually animated by Industrial Light and Magic, the same people who do the special effects for Star Wars and countless other Hollywood films as well. So yes, technically not an anime, but I mean, it's Ultraman, it's a Japanese property, it's very clearly anime inspired. I think we can make an exception for this. After all, just look at how gorgeous this film is. One of the things I appreciate greatly in Ultraman Rising is just how striking the art style is. Something that's kind of disillusioned me about the state of popular Western animation nowadays is just how safe it all feels, with characters and environments always having this kind of soft look to them. However, in recent years, we began to see a shift to more stylized animation and art with films like Spider-Man, TMNT, and now Ultraman. I just really like that this film is so much more concerned with packing a punch and being its own unique thing as opposed to trying to fit in with what's popular and proven to make money. In particular, I adore the way Ultraman looks in this movie. He's instantly recognizable as Ultraman, but they exaggerate his proportions to give him a very striking heroic silhouette. They widen out his chest a bit. He's given very lanky limbs. He just stands out in such a fun manner that also really accentuates the character's alien origins without making him look, creepy or anything. One specific detail that I love especially is that the glow in his eyes actually operate as his pupils. Typically, Ultraman doesn't really have pupils. He just has those big ol' empty lens eyes. But here, through the process of animation, they were actually able to show us exactly what he's looking at in a very subtle way, which feels like a small thing that doesn't really actually matter all that much. But in all my years of watching movies, I've always found that the small stuff is what usually sticks out to a lot of fans. And the creators of this movie did not skimp out on the small details. It is evident that the people who made this movie love not only Ultraman, but tokusatsu in general. There are so many little references packed into this movie that I'm sure we could probably fill an entire video just pointing them out. From all the different kaiju pulled directly from the Ultra series, the opening title screen being a reference to Ultra Q, Ken owning a figure of freaking Abaran O from Aba Ranger, and wait, what is she doing? What does she do? Oh my god, that's the dance from Invasion of Astro Monster. That's the dance from Invasion of Astro Monster. She's doing the dance from Invasion of... I need to calm down. Something that I greatly appreciate about this movie is that while yes, it does have a ton of references to Ultraman and Tokusatsu, it's not completely consumed by these references. Nowadays, I find that with a lot of movies, specifically the ones attached to much larger franchises, often these references are used as a crutch. If they can't rely on a well-written or compelling story, then usually they try their best to wave as much nostalgia in the audience's face as possible and hope that that will somehow compensate. With Ultraman Rising, while there are a lot of cool references, it's never shoved down your throat. A lot of it is just regulated to the background for hardcore fans to pick out. Really, this is a movie that anyone can sit down and watch. You really don't need prior knowledge of Ultraman to enjoy it. However, I think one thing you need to keep in mind before you watch Ultraman Rising is that it is not a mindless monster bash, which might seem, kind of strange considering the source material. There is fighting, and oh my god, the fights are just, yeah, punch him, get him. But really, the central core of Ultraman Rising comes from its characters and their struggles. Ultraman Rising centers on Ken Sato, who, after spending most of his life focusing on his baseball career, must now take up the mantle of Ultraman from his estranged father, Professor Sato, defending the world from kaiju threats, as well well as trying his best to balance his career as a famous athlete. Ken, understandably, begins having trouble maintaining his sports career because, I mean, are you going to show up for practice after spending a night having your rib cage bashed in by a giant monster? As if life wasn't already being a massive jerk to Ken, he then finds himself in quite a predicament. After rescuing an innocent kaiju egg from the Kaiju Defense Force, the egg hatches to reveal a baby kaiju, after which it kind of...
I'd say she is imprinted on you.
No. Are you saying...
Yes, Ken. She thinks you are her mother.
That's right. Ultraman is now Mr. Mom. Yeah, so this movie's whole premise is, what if Ultraman was a daddy? And I totally get how anyone can look at this premise and think, ugh, that sounds so immature and clearly targeted for little kids. To which I say, it's Ultraman. It was literally made for kids. I think in any other circumstance and in any other person's hands, it'd be so easy to screw up this story. When you introduce babies as a main plot point for any film, that really just opens the door to an abundance of incredibly unfunny poop and diaper jokes and whatnot, which they do in this movie. Did you see what I did there? However, they don't do it a ton in this movie, and when it is done, it serves the purpose of what the story is trying to convey. That taking care of kids sucks. It's really amusing watching Ultraman, a character who's usually able to just solve his problems by just kind of, punching them away, deal with an issue that is so much more complicated than that. But at the same time, you also really feel for him. I know that the whole realistic depiction of a panic attack thing is a meme at this point, but there is a part in this film where Sato just straight up breaks down from the pressure of juggling every single aspect of his life, questioning why all of this is happening to him. And this was the moment where my opinion of this movie changed from, this is a really good kids movie, to, this is just a really great movie in general. I think that a lot of us take being young for granted. It's so crazy just how simple my life was when I was a kid. And now that I'm an adult, there's periods of my life where I feel like everything is crashing down around me. Not just in my life, but in the world in general. When you become older, life has a habit of just beating you down mercilessly until you're a cynical, jaded, joyless pile of mush. And that's why it's so important to cling to the good things in your life and to never take them for granted. At its core, Ultraman Rising is a family film. And I mean that literally. Not in the sense that, oh, it's an incredibly inoffensive film that the whole family can enjoy together because it's been focus tested to the point that it can be slopped down by your kids while you check your phone or something. I mean that it's a film about family. I feel like any adult can sit down with their child, turn this movie on, and get as much out of it as a kid would. There were parts of this movie that genuinely resonated with me on a very personal level. Despite Sato's stress and his complete despair as it felt like he was beginning to drown in his issues, there's a moment in the film where his perspective completely shifts. Children don't have anyone else but adults to help them reach who they truly will be later in life. And Sato understands that without him, Emi will perish. So despite everything, Sato takes responsibility and with the help of his family, raises Emi, and in the process creates an unlikely yet beautiful, unbreakable bond. That's why whenever I was watching this movie, I wasn't thinking, where's the next monster for Ultraman to fight? Because I was so interested in watching Sato change from this narcissistic, showboaty celebrity athlete to a father who genuinely cared about the well-being of another life. And that's the whole point of Ultraman. Not that he's some cool superhero that beats the crap out of kaiju, it's that he's a being that cares about life and protecting it at all costs. Something incredibly fundamental to his character established all the way back in the 60s. I think everyone should watch Ultraman Rising because I really do think that anyone who watches this film will get something out of it. Young, old, even if you've never seen anything related to Ultraman ever, I think you'll enjoy this. In an ocean of films that are created in mass to appeal to the lowest common denominator, Ultraman rises above all of them. This film can be enjoyed by everyone not because it was cynically designed to make as much money as possible, but because it feels genuine, made by genuine Ultraman fans who wanted to tell a genuine story with a genuine message that anyone can resonate with. And I think that's really cool. So all I have to say is this. If you have Netflix, go watch Ultraman Rising. It's a really good movie, one that I'll remember for a while, one that I really, really hope sticks around.